my swag and play the fool, babe. Just play the game and hold on, maybe. But I'm done with the waiting, done with the waiting. I'm done with playing nice. Now look me in the eyes. Tell me, tell me, tell me what you see inside. Not gonna ask you twice. Not looking for your lies. Tell me, do you wanna go? Do you wanna go? Do you wanna go? Do you wanna go? Those who wanna play by the rules end up last with nothing to obtain. So let's level up to remain. 'Cause I'm done with the waiting, done with the waiting. I'm done with playing nice. Now look me in the eyes. Tell me, tell me what you see inside. Not gonna ask you twice. Not looking for your lies. Tell me, do you wanna go? 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 I'm riding away tonight. Gonna try it while the world's bright. Got room for one if that's alright. That's alright. Do you wanna go? 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 Do you wanna go?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wednesday's podcast. And it would appear that we have some breaking news. So, apparently, the hostage, the hostage who's never allowed to do anything with his life because his Jezebel wife controls everything that he does, got on a plane and went all the way to the motherland, to the continent. Harry has been spotted in Mozambique. And let me sorry, I'm still kind of trying to gather details, but I believe he was spotted in Mozambique. Just trying to get the exact place it was. Hello, everyone. If you're joining us, thank you so much. It literally just came up on my Twitter feed. I was like, what? Harry in Africa? Let's see. So I had to push back the podcast by like 10 minutes just so I could make an extra slide. I swear sometimes I feel like the Sussexes, or no, not the Sussexes themselves, but their people or something are definitely listening. Like the way breaking news just happens when we're about to go live. Oh dear, now where did I put the pic? Oh, hang on a sec, guys and dolls. I'm so sorry. Like this has all just happened so quickly. Welcome if you're just entering the podcast. Okay, so he was spotted in Vilanculos, which is in Mozambique. Yes. and I think he's wearing that hat. I don't know if that's a uh tusk. Is that the tusk trust symbol? Does anybody know what it looks like it's for um some kind of charity? Would anybody know what charity or cause that is? Do you have any investigative other investigative reporters in the comment section? Hello, 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 everyone, if you're just joining. Oh, thank you so much, Lydia Washington, for the super sticker, much appreciated. And thank you for being a member, as always. Okay, so there's a lot of people in the chat already, and we've barely started. We're already at 400. So, um, mods, please be on the lookout because the trolls will probably come in today, especially that we have some breaking news. The fact that he was able to just roll up to the motherland and no one knew. There are no leaks. Yeah, Valerie, how is he going to go to Africa when he's being held hostage? I want to be Megan's hostage. Bonnie, Harry snuck out to Africa in plain sight and nobody saw it coming. Exactly. See, this is the thing, right? They are always so focused here, there, and everywhere, panicking, throwing everything at the wall, the trolls, the bots. And Harry's just like, I'm going to Africa. They're out here trying to, get the Diana's 20-year-old BBC Panorama interview cancelled. And Harry's like, I'm going to Africa. Oh my god. Jane Parker. I saw it but didn't believe it. Yeah, like saw people like writing about it on the feed, and then the pictures finally came up. Yeah, Kathy G. He's living his best life. Living his best life on the motherland. Look at how happy and chilled he looks. Yes, Elizabeth, no leak. So, Sylvia Dixon, African Parks cap, I believe. Okay, I'm gonna take your word for it. Angela, the other royals are hostages of the Rotten Rota. Indeed, they can't make a move without the Rottens knowing. Harry and Meghan are free. Oh, it's an Archwell hat. So is that the Archwell logo? Okay, if I get a clearer picture, I will update you all. But that is just the breaking news. Um, Joan Commonwealth is part of Centre Ballet. I'm sure we'll find out more details as news comes through. Elaine Parker, thank you so much for the super sticker, darling. All right. And Pele Prescott, thank you also for the super sticker. Hi, Cinderella. Hi, everyone who is joining us. All right, so a little bit to get through today. I'm sure I'll have more details about what what this is all about and why Harry is in Africa tomorrow. But for today's news, just a happy reminder, because this came up on my feed again, all of the money that the Sussex squad have donated to charities. And this is just the charitable donations that we can measure based on public fundraisers. I'm sure it is tens of thousands more of donations that people make anonymously and in their own time. So just pat on the back to all of us for donating and being so generous. Now, on the topic of donations, I also want to say something else. And uh, okay, this isn't. I'm just gonna say before I get into this, so this isn't gonna be a very easy thing for me to say. Um, so there was a squaddy who posted on one of my previous videos. I think it was I don't know if it was yesterday's podcast or the day before's podcast. So she's um going through a very difficult time at the moment, and she felt slightly disappointed that she felt that she wasn't getting a lot of support from the squad, because squad do sometimes, do fundraisers for squad members and such. Now, guys and dolls, I'm human. Um, I'm I do not place myself as the leader of the squad, and I don't think that anybody with or anybody of the bigger platforms place themselves as the leader of the squad. So it's sometimes very difficult when you have someone in the community come to you and say, "I'm struggling," and I think we all do our best to support, but I think going forward, and I've thought about this, and please don't take this as me not wanting to be supportive or wanting to ignore things that are going on, in your personal lives, but I'm one person, and I don't want to bear the responsibility of feeling like I have to be an emotional support for everyone. So I've made the decision that I'm no longer going to post personal fundraisers, and that's partly because of what I've just said, but also because I think it's up to everybody individually in the squad to do their own due diligence when it comes to personal fundraisers, because there have been situations before, unfortunately, where people have taken advantage of the squad, and then the big accounts that try to be supportive then get blamed when people get finessed and scammed for their money. Um, so while I encourage you all, if you feel that a squaddie is going through something, and if you personally have done your due diligence and you've spoken to the person and you want to donate to that person, and I would do the same. Like, I've seen squaddies going through things, and I have donated my money also to people in need. But I've just made the decision that I will not be reposting anything on my platform, because I don't want to be held responsible for a situation where I post something and then maybe that person was not genuine, and it's just way too much pressure on me as a person to kind of be that shoulder. So I hope you understand, this is not me trying to dismiss anyone, but I just feel like I have to kind of set a precedent now. But if if you are going through something and you feel you need help, feel free to post in the comment section anytime. Just know that I'm probably not going to highlight it, as far as anything to go with money or donations goes. And I hope you can kind of understand where I'm coming from with me saying that. Um, let's go through your comments. Um, Kelly Chavez, I see how that could get messy. Yes, and I felt when I read this person's message, I felt genuinely bad, because I know that they are a long time squaddie. I know that they have been in the community for a very, very long time. So to me, this generally appeared to be someone who was very genuine and genuinely needed help. And if you come across her comment on any of my videos, I generally think that she's someone that you should help. And if you want to help her sorry, with money, then you can. But I think it should be very much, you know, an individual person's choice. I think it can get very messy if we start posting like personal GoFundMe's, because in the past, I don't know if you know about the incident that happened with Tina and Sussex Squad and that Basiwa woman. It got very, very messy. Um, all right, so that's all I wanted to say regarding that. Um, Over at Sussex Timeline, they are now recruiting for some extra helpers, and applications are now open. They are seeking the role for transcriber to help the deaf and hearing impaired and non-English speakers access the audio and video content by transcribing speeches and recorded conversations from Meghan and Harry, and also another archivist to add to the events onto the timeline. I mean, it is unpaid. Or at least for now, it's very much something that you'd be doing as a hobby. I know that they do get donations, but it would go obviously towards running the back end. So I don't think they'd be looking to pay anyone now. But if you want to be part of a very fun team, we've had Sussex Timeline come on and talk about the timeline before, and they're two really nice girls. So if you want to be part of that, please visit Sussex Timeline and let them know that you're interested. Also in UK news, the man who was caught at Windsor Castle, the Windsor Castle intruder, appeared via video link from a psych ward in Westminster's Magistrates Court ahead of his sentences. And as Omid says in his tweet, this is just a reminder of why the Sussexes need their security, because you just don't know what kind of crazies are out there. And I'm sure that there are actually many security breaches that happened that we just don't know about because they nip them in the bud before things get bad. Thank you so much, everyone, for saying that you do understand. Don't take this as me not wanting to be supportive, but having a platform that like this, it comes with a certain level of responsibility. Mm. Yes, Lorna, like a lot of the charities that we support are licensed and we always donate directly to them. Mhm. Okay. Um, so in Bojo news, Bojo is back from his holiday, which he decided to take while the country is falling to pieces. But there was this very funny picture that came out of him getting off the plane. You've got the nanny with the oldest kid, literally hanging off her arms, could barely keep a hang of him. You've got the wife with the baby, and then you've got Bojo in the back with the backpack. Like, oh, child. And we can see, his friend here, Trump, with the umbrella, and the wife just out in the rain. I mean, it's the same type of man on both sides of the Atlantic. Um, Republicans and Tories, that's what you get. We know the type of men who hold umbrellas for their wives. That would be Harry. True for Dilly. Look at Trump in his nappy diaper. Oh my god. Okay, I did not even realize that until until you brought that to my attention, True for Dilly, and now I can't unsee it, which is why I'm going to go straight to the next slide. Um, so in Northern Ireland, it's now come out that the Oprah interview with Harry and Meghan was the most watched television program. So again, I mean, I haven't spoken to many people who didn't watch the interview or didn't watch clips of the interview. I'm sure even now, um, people are still watching that interview. And there are, what is it? An hour or so left of that interview that we've never seen. And it's left to be seen if we'll ever see it. In Cambridge news, more and more people are starting to talk about the fact that they spent 12 million on Earthworm, and people are asking, well, where did the other 7 million go if they only gave out 5 million for the prizes? And we've barely heard any follow-ups about Earthworm and the prize winners. And so I do wonder if, as we move closer and closer to their trip to the US, if more people are going to start to question that, because that is a very big question mark. That is a £7 million question mark, and the British people deserve to know where that money went. Okay, and on to the next thing. Yeah, Emily Andrews. There seems to be a lot of explaining and complaining going on nowadays. Now, there was some gossip sites that posted something regarding the Prince of Pegging and the alleged, running through the rose bushes, that situation. Now, Emily, this tweet from Emily is a response to someone posting about the alleged affair. And she responded to the person saying, "This is just categorically wrong. No stories were fed to the tabloids on Meghan and Harry in exchange for keeping quiet on William. We all tried our damnedest to find proper evidence of the affair. There wasn't any. Therefore, no story to print. This anonymous BS is just pure BS. You tried your damned hardest to find proper evidence. Well, I mean, there's got to be some evidence, allegedly, for the lawyers listening, if a super injunction was allegedly for the lawyers listening taken out. So you didn't try hard enough, Emily Andrews. You did not try hard enough. There was this really funny tweet from Kaiser at Celeb Bitchy. They posted, "Will the Sussexes and the Cambridges see each other in September?" And then somebody responded, "Will Kate and William see each other in September?" Ha 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 ha. That is a good question. You know, I have honestly never heard this much explaining and complaining for a long time. I'm wondering why Emily Andrews feels the need to butt in and respond to Kaiser. That was really random. Elaine, Kate is going to play charity. Sorry, going to play tennis for charity. Yeah, I heard about that also, and all I can say is let's see who, if anyone, pays for those expensive tickets. I'm assuming they're trying to cosplay the Sussexes with the whole polo thing. Let's see how much money they raise or if anybody buys those tickets. Sharon Davis, I'm still waiting for the 5 questions from Kate. Didn't they do a final review or release the findings, and then she did that meeting with Sajid Javid, and they tried to make it look like it was because of her that the government gave like a 300 million pound fund or something. So yeah, it came and went, and you just didn't hear about it because nobody cared. Cat Harlem, do we even know the names of the nominees or winners? No, I don't. If it was Harry and Meghan, we'd know. They haven't done any follow-ups or any promotion. Cal Aston agreed about Earthworm, both the money and the project winners. Do you know what? That is actually a very good point. I wonder how close a lot of the winners actually are to Kensington Palace in some way. I'm sure if we did a 6 degrees of separation, we might find a few interesting things. All right. Okay, I'm going to now move on to, well, I'll get through your comments before I move on to it officially, but the Diana HBO documentary, yes, I did watch it. Yes, I was very emotionally triggered, and yes, I do have a lot to say. Um, but let's get through your comments before I get onto that, because there's a lot to say. Compton, maybe the money William kept from his charity will pay for the tickets. I mean, it's going to be embarrassing if nobody buys tickets, right? Carol, hey squad. Yeah, William needed a super injunction for no reason. Allegedly. And they are quick to print any rumor about Meghan and Harry, but suddenly they have scoops about William's rumors. Go figure, yeah. Cal Aston, Emily Andrews is the wrong rat to go in. Remember, she took info from KP about Meghan's baby shower and published a full description before the shower happened. Exactly. Like her and Camilla Tominey is a liar are just in a race to see who can be the most ridiculous. Lorna, Willie Leaks may have to answer to Bloomberg, who has contributed to his Earth Earth's not. If he cannot find that 7 million, December is going to be interesting. Yeah. Can you imagine if some major scandal comes out while they're there? Oh my god. Cancel the trip. Cancel the trip, Kensington Palace. I know you're listening. Um, Karen M. They had a similar fundraiser for William's birthday and nobody gave money. What was it a corporate event where you bought tickets, or are you talking about the derangers? Because if they had an event for William's birthday, I knew nothing about it. Eleanor, but they printed and print stories about Harry and Meghan without proof. Exactly. So she's sitting there crying, "We tried to find the evidence," but you don't need like you just post lies about Harry and Meghan without any evidence. Thank you, Lucy, for reminding everyone to thumbs up and subscribe. Um, Kathy G, Princess Meghan. Sources say my best friend's uncle's girlfriend's hairdresser said the unroyals. We couldn't confirm anything. FTF out there. Yeah, get the F out of here. Yes. Honestly. Meghan's former dog groomers, couch carriers, big nail polishers, best friend said about Meghan. Like, that's literally what the Raw reporters sound like. Sharon, was there any video from the awards for the Archwell Foundation? Sorry, for the award that was given to the Archwell Foundation. Yes, there was. There was a video that went around of the is it the executive of Archwell getting the awards? It's yeah, it's doing the rounds on Twitter, but Harry and Meghan aren't in it. So oh, Karen, the Derangers were going to do a fund for William's birthday, but it didn't happen. Okay. Will's epic 40th. Oh, hilarious. Okay, on to the Diana documentary. In the comment section, please do give your opinions if you have seen it. I'd love to hear what you thought about it all. I was very, very emotionally taken back. Um, First and foremost, the actual film itself and the way that it was put together, the way that it was shaped, I just thought was so masterfully done. Um, Incredible editing, incredible sound editing as well and scoring. There was this one particular part. I mean, there wasn't that well, like there wasn't a whole lot in terms of added background music, but where it was used, it just added so much to the emotion. And there was this one particular part where you see like all of the hoorah from the wedding and they're going through the crowds, Charles and Diana's wedding, and there's all this noise and the crowds and the cameras and the waving of the flags, and the carriage stops right out of public view where the reception's going to be, and then it's just like silence, and you just hear the click 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 of the cameras, and it's just this incredible foreshadowing using sound, that click 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 of the cameras that is almost always there. And it reminds me of what Harry said when he talked about his trauma and how, whenever he hears the click, click, click of the cameras in that South Africa interview. And so the way in which this documentary foreshadows so much and links into so much of what is happening now and what has happened to Harry and Meghan, and how it is very much history repeating itself with the Diana years, I just thought was so magnificent. I actually do think that this could be up for some awards because it's just so brilliantly done. The documentary, I don't know how much I should say because I don't want to ruin it too much, but it does, as if you didn't already know, use archival footage. It's all archival footage. There's no snotty royal, so-called royal experts giving their opinions. And I think this movie really proves why historical footage is so important, because it can speak for itself. The footage really speaks for itself. There's nobody here chiming in and giving their opinion. The footage and the pictures tell a story, and I think that's what's so powerful about it. You see footage both from the press and also from ordinary, everyday people. Um, to see a couple of other things in my notes. Yes, so when we talk about history repeating itself, or similarities between back then and today, it's not just about the way Princess Diana was treated, it's also very much about Britain's relationship with the press and the royals. So at the very beginning of the documentary, one of the things that you see is that Britain was actually going through quite a lot of economic hardships at the time of Charles and Diana's engagement and wedding. And it's almost as if back then, and like very much still now, they used the engagement and the wedding to kind of distract from a lot of the hardships. And not only did the establishment use Charles and Diana's engagement and wedding to distract, I think people were very much happy to be distracted. And you do hear one of the commentators actually saying, well, we've got this nice big wedding and the pomp and pageantry. And I think about what's going on now with the cost of living crisis in Britain, and how all of that pomp and pageantry is no longer distracting the masses. It's no longer distracting the peasants. And I think it really shows when you compare the hysteria, and it was literal hysteria about Diana's entry into the royal family, to what we have now. There's just no comparison. Like, it was almost on the level of the Beatles, of like that Beatles, Michael Jackson fame. And very few people in history, or modern history, have ever had that much attention and eyes on them. And no other royal has ever had that much attention and eyes and obsession on them from the world. Diana really made the British royal family outside of Britain, and they lost their biggest advocate because of jealousy. And that's another thing that you see in the documentary, the jealousy from Charles, the jealousy from the institution, and how they basically used the press against Diana. Another thing that I thought was quite similar to what Diana went through and what Meghan is going through now. There were several parts in the documentary where you hear people accuse Diana of using the press to court attention for herself, when in fact, a lot of the attention that was coming to Diana was helping other causes. So we know with HIV, with the landmines, but there was also a man, I think, when she was in India, who actually said, because of her, they were able to get millions. So it just speaks to, whenever a woman, a very prominent woman, knows her power and uses her power, people always try to spin it in, a negative way. She's being manipulative, she's being this, she's being that. Why does she want all the attention? Even if she's using her attention and the eyes of the world being on her for good, it still gets treated with suspicion and judgment. Um, Also, I think the documentary was also a reminder of how deeply ingrained actually monarchy was at that time in British identity. When when Diana was pregnant with William, the pregnancy was actually announced in shopping centres. that's not something that would happen in modern Britain now. The way the interest in the royals has just dwindled. Um, okay, before I go on, I'll go to your comments because I rambled for a little bit and I have more to say. Um, Mina, I liked it. It was very telling seeing how she was treated. Yes. And, this is going to be just a reintroduction, I think, for many people who maybe don't know the full extent of the story. I mean, there were even things that I learned that I never knew about before. Jiffy the public comments were chilling. Yes, particularly, I have to say, from a lot of the women. So much of the judgment and the hatred and the despite and vitriol actually came from women. I think it speaks for the way in which royal women are so public and they are seen, but that's it. They're just expected to be seen and not heard. And like I said in my comment on the community tab, I feel like, Diana was like the fairy tale that a nation oppressed by a class system needed, but they needed her so much that they trapped her. And the institution ultimately destroyed her, and then the whole nation lost something incredibly special. Sure. Anyone have a copy or link to the documentary? Okay, do you know what? Straight after the podcast, I'm going to post a link to the documentary, and then I'm gonna delete it within an hour. Okay? So check then. I'm not gonna post it in the chat now in case like my video gets flagged or something. But I'll post it after. Um Joan Garcia, I'll pass on the film. I know it would trigger me and I'll get very teary. Yes, I think for some people it would be very triggering. As a British person, watching Britain through the lens of the Danny years was quite triggering because there's just so much to unpack. I actually want a psychologist to unpack the pathology of all of this. You're not gonna tell me that British people weren't out here acting like Europe's North Koreans. Cancel me for saying it. I said what I said because it was literal hysteria. I mean, look at this. Like our nation literally had a whole darn breakdown. A nation of stiff upper lips had a whole breakdown. And I think that the royal family realized that um no one else, at least in the British royal family, will ever be as popular as Diana was. And I don't even think when the Queen dies, there will be this much hysteria. There will be this. I don't think you're going to see this at all. I think maybe the most diehard, very old monarchists. But look at these pictures: old, young, black, white, Asian, rich, poor. Everybody felt it. And I think that the royals felt Sound back? Can everyone hear me? Hmm. Okay. Oh, thank goodness. Sorry about that. Right. Basically, what just happened there is my computer just decided to switch off. Like literally, just decided to shut down. This is a it's quite an old MacBook. Well, in MacBook years, right? Apple products. It's about 2.5 years old. So I'm guessing that's just a sign to me that it's starting to slow down. I probably need to get a new one very, very soon. So sorry about that. Um, oh, that was annoying. So sorry. All right, let me try and. Oh no. Try and go and see if I miss any of your good comments about this. Um, okay, so sorry about that, folks. Marilyn Matthews, the blind following the Unroyal family reminds me of a cult following. As a non-Brit, I can't understand this loyal following of this firm. Yes, I think it is very much like I was saying. Cancel me. I will die on this hill. We are the North Koreans of Europe. Um, because it is very much like that. And literally, what's so interesting is no one's even forcing us to worship these people. We just do. Um, and yeah, I think somebody actually needs to do like research on this, and I'll see if I can find a psychologist and we can go through the pathology. But it is very much a thing, I think, also of national identity, all this pomp and pageantry. It does give people a sense of patriotism, but you know all of that very much rests on a fairy tale that has no bearing in reality whatsoever. Diana was tortured. Everybody that well, everybody in this institution is tortured, but if you choose not to go along with it, you're extra tortured. uh, oh, can you can all hear me, and you can see the picture you can see the picture on the screen, right? I think most of you can see the picture. Some people are saying that they're still seeing black. Maybe refresh the page. Lily Bell Grant, I was around during the middle part of the Diana years. Sadly, most of the nastiest comments against Diana came from women. They said it was her fault while Charles cheated. Oh my god. It was her fault that Charles cheated on her with Camilla. FYI, Charles has always had chubby fingers. That's the other thing that I noticed. Mm, uh, And someone from inside of Paris is listening to you. It's the egg. Oh, well, speaking of the egg, listen, I'm human, and you know, regardless of what I think about the egg, this is sad. And when I look at these pictures and when you see the footage, and William especially, because he's a lot more blonde than Harry, really, really looks like Diana. You really, really see the mum in his face, and you just think of who this young man was here in this photo and what's happened to him and what he's become now. And I think it's the reason why, despite the fact that Harry probably feels betrayed by his family, um, he he still has compassion. I don't think we'll ever truly know um the extent of the evils that go on behind closed doors in this institution that William can or did come out um the way he did. So yeah, it is sad, and it does end. The documentary does end Can you all just let me know that you can hear, sorry, that you can see what's on the screen? You can see what's on the screen, right? Because some people are saying that they can only see a black screen. But yeah, the documentary does end um with Diana's funeral, and you see the coffin going away, and you see how these two young boys had to, thank you, you can see in here, had to comfort a whole nation, but there was no comfort for them whatsoever. And there is no amount of trauma that could ever heal that. Oh, sorry, there's no amount of sorry, I think I was trying to phrase it differently there. There's there's no amount of privilege, sorry, that can heal that trauma. That's what I was trying to say. Got my tongue in a twist there for a second. There's no amount of privilege that can well, perhaps, one can have access to all types of therapies and whatnot, but there's nothing that can shield you from that um level of trauma, even if you're privileged. So I am very much looking forward to what Harry has to say in his memoir, because there's no way that he's gonna skim over um his mother's passing, the short part of his childhood that his mother was around, and quite possibly the way the firm handled him and his brother's well-being and mental health from the time of his mother's passing and going forward. We know that they really weren't comforted. They weren't really offered any type of therapy. I think there was one thing that came out where people were told not to even talk to Harry or hug him. I mean, the boy's mother's just died. It's just very, very cruel. And, I think we really have to, as a nation, just reflect and say, you know what, enough is enough. This institution is cruel. It hurts those who are in it. And this is probably one of the most famous quotes from the whole documentary. But once an institution starts destroying people, it's time to recognize that there is something fundamentally wrong with that institution and not the people it destroys. Couldn't be more accurate. Lindsay Loman, Prince Harry was right to take his family to the USA. Had he stayed, his life and family unit would have been destroyed like his mother. Exactly. Absolutely. Um, Kelly Chavez, the media provides a degree of brainwashing needed to make people think they are relevant. Hence the need for Royal Rota and the revolving door with government ensure their survival. Yes. But with more and more people, I think, starting to question, well, what are we even paying for here? We're paying for an institution that is more concerned with protecting alleged sex offenders who are friends with um, jailed sex offenders than it is helping the everyday person. And almost every nice person or decent person that walks into this institution um, seems to be destroyed. You also see a bit of footage in the documentary from Fergie's interview with Oprah. I love that they did that because people have, accused Meghan and Harry of, hurting the Queen, insulting the Queen. Well, Fergie gave interviews too. Diana gave her interview, and they do actually use the BBC Panorama footage. So BBC can just shove it because HBO was not scared to use that footage, and it just makes BBC look weak as a news organization in comparison to this big American heavyweight. They do actually use the footage. One thing that I think they could have done that was even more powerful. There's something that Fergie says in her interview. Um, I think she literally says something like car crash in her interview with Oprah. Someone comment in the comments like if you can remember exactly what it was. Like there was something that Fergie said that was so eerie. It was such a foreshadowing of what was to come. But I can't remember the exact phrase that she used. But I think that would have really added something to the documentary. But other than that, it was very well done. There were pieces of footage that I've never seen before. There's one piece of footage where Diana is in a surgical room, someone's getting surgery, and you also see, certain events from different angles. So you see, like, different angles of different footage that I'd never seen before either. So all in all, a great watch, and, do find out where you're, in your country where they're airing it, but I will, post a link. Just beware, if you are watching it on any of these bootleg sites, a lot of them are filled with viruses, so make sure that your virus protection is on your computer and that you're using a VPN. Okay, let's get to your comments. A lot of you, when Harry's kids see these pictures, I wonder how they'll feel. Yeah. Yeah, they're gonna see all this one day. They're gonna see all this one day. So are the Cambridge kids. Ugh. Okay, there was just one other thing that I wanted to finish with, completely unroyal related, and we'll get to your comments and call it a day. Um, Ketanji Brown Jackson, the United States Supreme Court Justice, was photographed by Annie, is it Leibovitz? And she's come under fire before for not, photographing black women very well. Now she does have a very particular style. I do think that Ketanji looks great and she does shine in these photos, but I can definitely see, and you're gonna see why in a minute, why people were criticizing Annie. Magazines in general, um, especially those that aren't black owned, just don't seem to always, I've noticed, portray black women in the best way in comparison to some of their counterparts. So while I don't think these pictures are bad, I just think they could have done a lot better. Like the lighting in the bottom one, like it almost washes her out. And people were calling out Annie. There was the Vogue photos that she did with Simone Biles, and somebody actually did point out that you can see pictures here shot by Annie, a professional photographer, and other pictures shot by um Zaya Wade, a child. So I just think if you know that you don't have the range to be able to work perhaps with certain skin tones and women of color, perhaps just give it a rest and let somebody else do that job, because I've seen stunning, stunning photos of black women in different publications, and i- other photographers can just do better. So know what your range is, and if you can't, meet the challenge, let somebody else do it, because it's not fair for somebody as amazing as Simone Biles to be given treatment like that. I wasn't happy about these pictures, and I've seen much better with Simone, and they probably could have done a lot better for Kataji as well. But congratulations, anyway, to Kataji. And that is that. We'll get straight to your comments and call it a day. Thank you so much, everyone. Um, Cookies and cream. Destroying people seem like a favorite pastime with these racist, barbaric, immoral people. Thank goodness Harry took his family away from that vile cesspool of a monarchy. Indeed. Joyce, Fergie is trying to hold on for dear life. The clout her husband used to have can't protect her now because he does not have any clout. Yeah. Good days are long gone. Also, if you want to watch the documentary on HBO, try just getting a VPN. Sharon H. A little surprised they used Roy and Nika as a royal consultant for this documentary. Really? I didn't know that. Well, if that's the case, I didn't sense any British royal rota rat influence at all, to be honest. So, um, a bit surprised to hear that, but I didn't see any influence from this side. I think it did actually, what perhaps, like a British documentary filmmaker could not have done, a fear of, getting a tell-off from the palace. Denise Taylor, Charles never gave up Camilla. He was still with her before the marriage. Throughout the marriage, Diana knew this. Why he left Diana to go play polo, was to seek out and moan about, um, baby being a boy. Yeah, yeah. He didn't like the fact that, Harry was a boy. He thought that it was gonna be a girl. Yeah, Calcutta is beautiful, like, Annie just doesn't really know how to, like dark skin. Linda's documentary showed up William's inhumane side. What is he going to do now? Continue to lie about his deceased mother? Well, his trip to the US now is gonna be even more interesting. Alrighty, who's going to get the last word of the day? Rahini! Yo, late. No, never late. You're just gonna have to join the replay gang, dear. But we are done for the day. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. I will get any more news to you regarding Harry's appearance tomorrow. And yeah, I'm sure more about that will come through. But what a surprise! What a surprise. I tried to CC. I don't have HBO Max, but know someone who does. I don't have the fortitude to watch this tragic event from the snippets I've heard from some pro Sussex channel. Yeah, please do know that it could be quite triggering for you, as a squaddy, especially knowing that there are quite deep parallels between Diana's treatment and Meghan's treatment. So if you don't feel like you can stomach it, then don't put yourself through it. Yes, Mina Roof. I think that trip is going to be a disaster. I mean, I could never have imagined the Caribbean tour going the way it did. If anything, I thought that the Caribbean tour was just going to be boring and come and go. That's it. Could never have imagined it went the way it did. Okay, Chef Sandy Love, I'm going to give you the last word of the day. Love, peace, and happiness, positivity, squaddies, indeed. Oh, Rachel, don't forget the link. I'll put the link to the documentary in the community tab. So go to the community tab in like 5 minutes. I'll be there. All right. See you all tomorrow, y'all. Love you all.